There was a stretch of time in Los Angeles when everything felt apocalyptic, emotionally, literally, and existentially. You wake up, step outside, and the sky had the orange hue of a nicotine-stained Polaroid. Ash would float gently down like it was snowing the end times. That's when I was still doing the show, still trying to be funny, and this is where the narrative twists. I was in the middle of losing both of my parents. My dad passed first, quietly. Which is odd because he was a loud man, not in volume but in spirit. He filled a room with intellect and Irish guilt so potent, it could be bottled and sold as a Catholic cologne. A few months later, my mother followed. She always did, in her own time. Her departure was more drawn out, more poetic, and somehow more devastating. I found myself still showing up to work during all of it, still performing, still interviewing celebrities with symmetrical faces and opinions on juice cleanses. And I did it all in what I can only describe as a fugue state. It's not that I didn't know what I was doing, it's that everything had the texture of a dream. Those dreams where you're back in high school, but also flying a helicopter, and nobody questions it. I would walk into the studio, hear the warm-up comic firing up the crowd, and I'd think, I'm not here. I'm watching this from a distant satellite, broadcasting grief in high definition. The wildfires hit right in the middle of this. One morning, we had to evacuate the Warner Bros. Lot because flames had crept uncomfortably close to the hills behind stage 15. I remember grabbing a hard drive and my hairpiece and thinking, well, this is my legacy. The sky turned the kind of red you'd expect to see at the end of a Scorsese movie. I thought, if this is the end of Los Angeles, I'm going down in makeup and Spanx. Then came the Oscars. I was asked to present that year, not host, because the Academy is not that reckless, but to present. I accepted, partly because I needed a distraction, partly because I thought, why not embrace the surrealism of it all? My parents were gone, my city was burning, and now I was going to give a gold statue to someone who played a raccoon in space. It was a fever dream wrapped in a tuxedo. I remember being backstage, surrounded by the most genetically fortunate people on Earth, and feeling profoundly out of place. Nicole Kidman asked how I was doing, and I think I said something like, well, death is an illusion and fame is a mirage. She nodded politely and slowly backed away. When I walked out to present, I stood in front of thousands of people in the Dolby Theater and millions more watching from home, and I felt nothing. Not nerves, not excitement, just this flat, neutral hum. Like I was being puppeteered by an invisible force named grief and his sidekick, denial. But then something odd happened. I told a joke. A simple, probably recycled quip about method actors or the cost of popcorn. And the room laughed, really laughed, and for a moment, a flicker, I felt connected. Not to the spectacle but to the humanity underneath it. I realized that even amidst personal loss and natural disaster, and the absurdity of award season, there was still this primal human need to laugh. To share something that cuts through the static. That moment didn't fix anything. It didn't bring my parents back. It didn't stop the fires. But it reminded me that grief doesn't demand you stop living. It just demands you carry it with you. And I carried it onto the stage, into the punchlines, into the pauses between them. After the show, I went home, took off the tuxedo, and sat in the dark. No cameras, no laughter, just silence. And for the first time in months I cried. Not in dramatic sobs, but in a slow, quiet release. A man in a fugue state, finding his way back to himself.